Every 12th of June, advocates for the protection and promotion of children's rights across the globe gather to mark the International Day Against Child Labour. In Uganda, East Africa, the Work No Child's Business Uganda program, who include Nascent, Save the Children, Uganda National Teachers Union, and Environmental Women, join the government of Uganda and other partners to mark this day at a national event held in Kampala.
I would want to welcome you on behalf of my permanent secretary to this very important annual event that we always celebrate every 12th of June. The LO gazetted this day, and UN and the entire world, simply because of the magnitude of the issues of child labor. On this day, the tripartite members, the civil society, the social partners, and government and civil society, together with the private sector, join together with other millions of people world over to celebrate, but also to remind ourselves of the commitments that we need to put in place to address the vice of child labor. This year's theme is entitled, "Let Us Act Now on Our Commitments to End Child Labor." The day emphasizes the importance of social partners, the private sector, and the civil society, especially also to join synergies, mobilize resources, and create platforms for elimination of child labor. While progress has been made in reducing child labor, recent years have seen global trends such as armed conflicts, increased domestic violence, disasters, environmental crises, and the COVID-19 exacerbating the plight of children, especially those in child labor. Child labor actually refers to work that is mentally, physically, socially, or morally dangerous and harmful to children by the nature or its circumstances, makes the child have physical, psychosocial, and other mental challenges. And child labor is also perceived as work or anything that deals, that fails the child from attaining their educational needs. And therefore, it is the most possible visible problem caused by and perpetuated by poverty and exclusion. But this is time for action. And Uganda's prevalence of child labor rose from 21 to 36% during COVID. And you remember the child pregnancies, which were very vivid. Almost 4 million, but now it's at 40%, 6.2 million of the children engaged in child labor. And this, we cannot just bury it under our carpets and keep celebrating. This is a crisis. Almost it's moving towards a crisis point that we need to take action, despite universal primary education. What is our role in society? How do we hold parents accountable to children to make sure that every child must go to school?
Our experience confirmed that achieving a world free of child labor is within our reach. On this day, let us reaffirm our commitment to this cause, mobilize all sectors of the society, intensify our effort. Together we can and we must eradicate child labor, ensuring safe, healthy, and a prosperous future for every child. A child is meant to learn, not to earn. And just to finish off, a child who is not embraced by the village will burn down the village to feel its warmth. So let's not make our children in the future burn down our villages. Thank you.
I'm glad to mark with you today the World Day Against Child Labor. Today we reflect on an issue that touches the very core of our humanity, the well-being and future of our children. There are 160 million children in child labor worldwide. Child labor is a profound violation of children's rights, one that deprives them of their dignity, their education, and the opportunity to thrive. Uganda, with its vibrant young population, is a beacon of hope and promise. However, it's also a country where child labor persists. As it was said, some 40% of Ugandan children are engaged in some form of child labor, a proportion that has increased over recent years.
The 2024 World Day Against Child Labour commemorations have been held under the global theme, "Let's act on our commitments, end child labour." The day provides a great opportunity for WNCB Uganda programme to follow up on the regional initiatives around the area-based approach with the key asks towards different stakeholders and call for urgent action to get children out of work and into school.
We can use the area-based approach, and in the area-based approach, all stakeholders are very, very key. And for me right now, I would like to just share about the importance of the private sector. Very, very key. And as Work No Child Business Program, we've come up with some products that we can use for the private sector, especially in gold mining. We have developed a training manual and also some guidelines of having the children out of child labor, the private sector themselves, the community members, and then they work together to see that no child is, say, working in the mines. So we have developed those materials. They're not yet ready, but we shall invite you at a later time and we share them. And also to let you know that child labor is really high in some of the areas like Karamoja. The rate is at 55.6%. More than half of the children are in child labor. So we really need to act. And most of them is because of hunger. They're hungry, they go to the mines. So as a team, we need to keep working together to see that we don't get more children in child labor, but we get them out and into school.
Although significant strides have been taken in reducing child labour, over time, recent years have seen global trends reverse, underscoring the pressing need to unite efforts in expediting actions to eradicate child labour in all its manifestations.
We also need to invest in the actual programs that can change the lives of the communities. We are talking about access to financial inclusion. We are talking about, we have poverty as one of the things that is highly pushing millions of children in child labor. But we cannot do that if there is no inclusion, if we don't have systems in place that can be able to support the most vulnerable communities. Ladies and gentlemen, I think if we must eliminate child labor, we must ensure that whoever, first of all, is in the informal sector, be supported to formalize. But we cannot do that without social solidarity. Ladies and gentlemen, if we are divided and resources are given to a few communities, a few districts, apportioned to a few regions, I don't think we have a shared fate. But we must increase our level of social solidarity and ensure that even the most marginalized can have access to education, can have access to health. Let it start by the social solidarity, right from the government, and before it goes to the community.
On this day, the 12th of June, here at Mistil Hotel, Kampala, we, the children of Uganda, present our urgent call to action to government, civil society, our parents. We trust you will all follow the suit. Government of Uganda is continuously advocating for advocacy and awareness arising on dangers and consequences of child labor by government, social partners, and other stakeholders. I, on behalf of Government of Uganda, I would like to appreciate our development partners, European Union, UNICEF, the International Trade Center, the Dutch government, IOM. We are proud of you, and we are looking at Uganda eventually to be uplifted to the middle income status. Since child labor is a multidimensional and sectorial problem, All stakeholders have a role to play, including members of the press, whom I call upon to use the platform advocate for against child labor. Because child labor will not make Uganda realize the aspiration under Uganda's Vision 2040 agenda. A child labor perpetuates a cycle of poverty by exposing children to harmful practices like drug abuse. Elimination of child labor is therefore our collective responsibility as Ugandans. So now is a time for us to join forces to make the elimination of child labor a reality for God and my country. I remain Barugahara Bala Matenyi, the Minister of Young People, the Minister of the biggest population of Uganda. I love you all.
My weakness, my innocence is stolen. I am bound in chains of hard labor. I don't receive good education.